Another day, some more weaving, fun times. Hope everyone's doing good. Just want to get some confirmation in the chat, like everything's good, thumbs up. We have video and audio, all that jazz is good to go. Let's see, waiting on the chat here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Oh, here we go. Commander Joy's here. Excellent. Mike, thanks for coming from Atlanta. Dominic, how's it going? Oh, there we go. Now the chat's coming in. Got kick-started. Sweet. Martin, thanks for coming on. Mr. Powers. Yeah, baby, yeah. Okay. You had to have gotten some sort of Austin Powers jokes your whole life, right, Chris? Just wondering. That thought never popped into my head until just right now. Okay. From New Zealand. Excellent, Frank. Thanks for coming on. Got the Kiwis in the house. Excellent. Barcelona. Man, Germany. You know, Canterbury. I love Canterbury. I think I said that last week, right? Mr. P. LJ. Yeah, I spent a nice weekend in Canterbury. Had a great time. Wolf. Wolf is here. Okay, so we're going to get going. Hello to everyone. If I missed you, sorry. I still love you. So thank you very much for coming on today. Today we're going to be talking about Foundation 6.6 update that shipped last week. And I think it's already on 6.6.1. I actually have 6.6.2 ready to go out. I'll probably get that out later today. But yeah, so 6.6 is out. It's got a bunch of, I mean, no huge major new features, just a bunch of really nice features. And I thought there were so many like nice little new features that it warranted the .6 release. So that's where we are with that. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump on in. We're not going to jibber jabber much today. We'll jump on in and let's go ahead and share my screen here. Okay. Excellent. Gunter, thanks for coming on. Let's get Rapid Weaver up and going. All right, Rapid Weaver. Let's just load my sandbox site. Okie dokie. I've been doing a bunch of testing. Hopefully this project is okay. Hopefully I didn't break anything. I'll also bring up the release notes because, yeah, release notes are good to have. Reference, make sure I didn't forget anything. And they should be on the product page here. Let's go and just go updates. There we go. Oops. Uh-oh. What happened to 6.6? What's going on here? Something broke. Okie dokie. That's interesting. Let's go to the community where I pasted the release notes. I think I put it in the Foundation 6 group, right? Let's look. Where are they? November 6th. I didn't release. Oh, there it is. November 5th. Okay. Let me just move this over to my other screen so we can kind of reference all of these bad boys. Okay. Okay. So, 6.6. So, the kind of the big change here, I guess we'll just kind of show this right now so you have something to look at, I guess. So this CSS loading thing, what is that all about? So you may have seen a bunch of people in 6.5. I kind of changed the way this CSS was loaded or the styles were loaded on the web pages. And I did this based on feedback from Google and people's alerts that Google page speed was spitting out. And essentially what Google wants us to do nowadays is they want us to basically well, let me back up. Before, basically the browser would load the CSS, and it would wait to load the content before all the CSS was loaded. This way, when the content was actually displayed on the page, it knew how to style it. But Google decided that, hey, you know what? We want things to be even faster now. So what Google's decided it wants is that it wants us to load the CSS in the background and just start loading the page content as soon as possible. And then when the CSS is loaded, then the browser will apply the styles. And while that was good, it actually made pages load a lot faster, right? But a side effect of that is you could get a fraction of a second of your page looking not styled, right? And a lot of people didn't like that. Now, there was the preloader that you could use to kind of make that look a little nicer. But at that point, people were like, well, I don't want to use a preloader. And I don't want my page to look bad, even for a fraction of a second. So what I did was I reverted back to the way things were. Okay. But I added, if you still want the faster CSS loading, there's a new child stack inside site styles that you can load. Okay. Now, this is another caveat. If you read this release notes on the community, there's currently a small bug in Stacks 4 that sometimes new child stacks won't always show. So right now, there is a CSS Performance stack inside site styles. If you don't see that, it's under the features. It's called CSS Performance. This will enable the asynchronous style loading that we had in Foundation 6.5. So if you still want that behavior, you're going to have to add this CSS Performance stack. Now, if you don't see the CSS Performance stack, the only way to kind of get it is to add a new instance of site styles to the page. Or you just wait till Stacks 4.1.1 is released. I've been working with Isaiah on that, and I think we finally nailed why sometimes these little new child stacks don't display. So if you don't see some of the new child stacks that I'm going to talk about today, you'll see them when you add a new instance to the page, or you can wait till Stacks 4.1.1, and we should be golden there. Okay. So sorry about that. So there's 3 new child stacks in 6.6. The CSS Performance one is one of them. Okay. So that goes over. That was actually a really big change. That took quite a bit of work to get working. And I'm glad I figured a workaround to re-enable that behavior if we needed it. Okay. Okay. So when do you use the CSS swatch? Are you talking about this CSS Performance Swatch? Again, this CSS Performance Swatch simply makes your page load faster. But it does have the added potential side effect of having a fraction of a second of unstyled content on your page. So it's up to you. You can have it or not have it, but it is an option now. So that's nice. Okay. Next up, we're going to go over the other 2 new swatches. So what you'll notice inside, or let's look at fonts first. What you'll notice if you have an existing site styles on the page, you'll probably notice that all of your existing font style stacks are showing up as font style v651. Okay. So the reason that is because this is the version 651, and this has to do with the same thing where this is an existing site styles, and we're not seeing the latest version of font style. So in order to get the latest version, just to show you, I did this on purpose. You can, if you add a new site styles to the page, you'll see that we now have font style. Okay. Or the same thing as with swatches. Okay. Again, this is a bug that will be fixed in Stacks 4.1.1. But for right now, you'll notice that, yes. So if you see font style as one word, without a version number attached to it, then that is the current latest version. If you're seeing a swatch that has font style V651, then that is the older version that doesn't have this new feature. And what is this new feature? So this new feature is line height. Ta-da! Round of applause. Round of applause. Okay. So yes, really cool. We now have line height in the font style. Okay. Far too many people kept asking, how do I adjust line height? How do I adjust line height? Right. So yeah, really cool. Font style now has line height. And as you see here, it just shows up here as line height, and you define the line height of whatever you want to apply. A lot of Font Pro users were like, yeah, just use Font Pro. But a lot of times, just for a simple line height, to be honest, we also had this is 3 buttons here before, so we had a spot for a 4th button, and just figured, you know what, line height is really simple, something to add. A lot of people are asking for it, so I figured I'd give you guys a nice early Christmas present, and we now have line heights inside font style. Okay. Fernando, if you said you don't have CSS Performance, well, just listen to what I said before. Add a new instance to the page, or wait for Stacks 4.1.1. Cool. Okay, so font style, line height, really cool. Simple thing. Yeah, if you want line height, just go ahead and add it. Really cool. Next up is borders. Okay, so if you notice here, same thing as the font style. The older border swatch was renamed to border 651. Okay. And if you're wondering why I had to do this, essentially I had to create a new instance of the swatch because Stacks doesn't let me add a 4th button without like breaking things. So unfortunately, to add new buttons, I can add a completely new setting, but I can't modify this 3-button set and turn it into a 4-button set without breaking some things. So instead of breaking things, I'm doing it this way. Okay. So again, if you have all your existing border swatches will be called border 651. They will continue to work as they always have. You don't need to worry. You don't need to upgrade them. They will continue to work. Okay. But the new border swatch, if we look here, where is border? Okay. The new border swatch has a 4th button here under border color. And it allows us to define a swatch color. So before we could define a color, with a color well, but now with the swatch colors, you can choose whether or not you want to have a predefined color as the border. So you can, use the secondary or the light gray or the white or black. So you can use these colors that were defined inside site styles and yeah, define them here. So that's really cool. It's nice. So again, sorry for the confusion on this whole, V651 thing. It was just a necessary evil. And hopefully that will just be a little bit better in Stacks 4.1.1. I didn't want to not release these just because of that little glitch, because I know you guys want to have access to this stuff. So there we go. Sorry about that. Gary asked, can I have one more site style on the page? You don't want to have 2 site style stacks on the page. But you can add as many swatches stacks on the page as you want. I know it is a pain in the butt. Maybe after Stacks 4.1.1 is released, you can take this swatches stack and move everything over. Yeah, because having to duplicate this site style stack or redo all the settings is a pain in the arse, right? So sorry about that. It is a necessary evil. I didn't want to wait for the bug fix from Yourhead to be released, but yeah, again, I wanted to get some of these features out to you guys as soon as possible, and so there are some quirks until that happens. Sorry about that. Okay, next up. If I did some work. I did a bunch of work on accessibility in here. Guy Woodland. If you attended the Weaver Space Summit, he did an entire talk on accessibility, and I've been working with Guy a lot on, and especially on menus. So menus, actually, there are a lot of custom attributes. Let me back up. There are a lot of custom attributes for accessibility, such as roles and whatnot. And I went a little overboard. Actually, I went overboard with the attributes that I was adding to my menu HTML that was getting published. And so it was actually causing screen readers to be too verbose to accessible users. So I cleaned that up so it's a little less verbose, and it is, how it should be. It's just cleaned up. Nice, much nicer navigation menu layouts for accessibility and screen readers and all that jazz now. So nothing really to show you guys in the stacks. There's nothing you need to do. I just did all that work in the background, so I just fixed it all. Cool. My dogs are having World War III over there. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but they're like going at each other. Okay. Let's see. Next is new option to open parent accordion menus on active pages. Oh, this is a cool one, actually. And we can thank Matthias from Germany for this. Do I have an example? I thought I deleted my test. Rats. Okay, let me build a test really quick. I'll illustrate what this is because it's kind of hard to describe. You can go ahead and I'm going to add an accordion menu here. Yeah, just add an accordion menu. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a sub menu in here, and we're going to add some other menus. All right, boom. All right, so I have a accordion menu here, and I'm going to make this page right here. I'm going to call this active page. I'm just going to simulate that this is an active page, and I'm going to do that just by simply selecting this page. Okay, so, and I'm going to say that it's active. And then in the accordion menu, actually, I also have to say style active menu and open over here. This is the new option, this second checkbox right here. Open active parent menu. Okay, right? There we go. Open active parent menu. Oh no, that kind of made it go off the screen. Let me go ahead and here, let's move this. Gotta get out of my markup mode here. There we go. Okay. So this checkbox here, this open active parent menu, essentially what that means is, because by default, the accordions are going to be closed, right? The menu. But if we have an active page as a sub page, I want to have that accordion menu open. Okay. So in this example, this active page is actually the sub menu, and it is set to be the active page because I set the link to be currently the home page we're on. And if I preview this now, we will see that this active page is open. It opened the parent accordion menu by default on page load because the active page was underneath it, right? So that's cool. And no matter if the active page was under this accordion submenu, it would be here, right? So that's really cool little option. Thank you, Matthias, for filing that as a request. Took a little while to figure it all out and whatnot, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. Okay. Next one is improved tab alignment options. Okay. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and let's add some tabs in here. Let me just go ahead and I'm going to add some menus. Now, hopefully, I've had some issues this week with tabs extracting this template. Oh, okay, good, cool. So here we go. So here I have some tabs, and this is just a simple run-of-the-mill tabs. Okay, it's right down here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I added a bunch of tab alignment options now. Okay, so we can like center our tabs, and you'll see them. It actually shows it right here in edit mode. I don't have to keep previewing. So we have, we can right align our tabs. We can make them autofill, which will, here, I'll show you what autofill does. Autofill will kind of make them turn into, there's 3 tabs here, so it kind of turns them into, basically it makes them automatically fill all the space, right? If you notice in this case right here, like the text is also left aligned. That's why there's also now a text alignment option. So you could set that text alignment to be centered. And there we go. So now we have a nice a 3-tabbed interface that, you know, the tab titles are center aligned, and then the tabs kind of fill that space. So pretty slick. I like it. Okay. And there's one more feature for tabs now, and it's actually on the individual tab stacks. So I'm going to go ahead. If I select all 3 of these tabs, I'm going to click Activate on Hover. Okay. And if we preview that now, we'll see that when I hover over these tabs, you don't need to click them any longer. If you hover over them, they will change. Pretty slick, right? I like that. Two really nice, feature updates for tabs. Hope you like that. This hover on tabs works really well for vertical tabs, right? Here, let's show you an example of that. Let's add a vertical tabs template to the page. Let's extract that. I'm going to go ahead and set. Now, just to say, these are on each individual tab. So for this particular feature, I needed to add it at the tab level. So if you want to do it, you're going to make sure that every single tab has that option. So I did Command and I selected all 3 tabs, and you can change all the settings for all 3 tabs at once by doing that. Okay. So now if we preview this, we see now we have vertical tabs, and we have a nice little interface, like that. So yeah, really cool. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. So that was tabs. That's the ability to activate tabs on hover. Yes, I did that. And I'm not going to show this, but also why not? Here, I got accordion. Let's do an accordion. So here's an accordion. Let's just extract that. And if I do an accordion option here, let's select all 3 accordion sections. I'm going to say open on hover. And well, that's when it's tabs, but this particular example is, there we go. So when I hover on accordion, we can now open accordion sections based on hover as well. So that's pretty cool. I think it works better on tabs than accordion, to be honest, but I was kind of adding it to tabs, so I figured I'd add that feature to accordion as well. Next one. Ability to set ARIA hidden on pictures. Okay, this one's pretty simple. If you just have a picture stack, there's now a ARIA hidden checkbox right down here, right? So this ARIA hidden checkbox, that will make it basically, because there isn't a visibility, the way these visibility things work, there isn't a hide for screen readers option. It's just, the hide for screen reader option is actually built very differently than how these visibility classes are done. So essentially what we need, I had to have a separate checkbox for that, right? So we can now set that ARIA hidden on pictures. Let's see, new custom attributes said, oh, okay. This one is an interesting one. And this might be a little confusing for you because I'm not exactly sure what the exact use case is. I just thought it was a good idea and something that would allow flexibility in the future. And that is, here, let's scroll up. Let's find one that's towards the top here. Okay, this container here. In the container, we now have this new setting down here. Okay, right here. This bad boy right here. Okay, it's called custom adders. I know it's at the bottom corner of your screen, right? But, oops. There, up here, right? So this bad boy right here. Okay, and what is this? So let me back up a little bit and kind of explain. 2 weeks ago, I did that video on mastering CSS and kind of behind the scenes, showing you the magic of swatches. Well, hopefully that kind of gave you a little hint on how stacks really works, to be honest with you. All this does is just, these settings map to the setting, the code that is outputted to the page, right? And so what this does, so let's go ahead and look. This allows us to add custom attributes. Let me preview this page. Let's just look at the dev inspector. Why not? Let's find this container. All right here. So this code here, let's go a little bit bigger. You guys can see that. Okay. This right here, okay, this div that I have selected, this is this container. Okay, that's what that is. That's all that container does, is it makes this little div. Okay. And if you notice, now, if you've looked at HTML a lot, you'll notice that there's a lot of various attributes inside of like this particular one has an ID, it has a class, it also has like these data close on click things, data events. This particular one, this is a very elaborate HTML div. It has a lot of attributes. This one that I had highlighted before is very simple. It just has a class. Okay, you'll notice that some of these have IDs and classes. Some of them have just classes, but there are a lot of attributes. Okay, class is an attribute. ID is an attribute. Okay, if we go over to W3, we go to W3 schools. Okay, and we look up. Hold on, that's not what I wanted. Let's do W3 div. Oh, here, global attributes. Okay. W3 Schools is a great website. I reference it all the time just because I think it's nicely laid out. This kind of goes over a bunch of HTML attributes that you could use. Some are obsolete, some are not, right? So you could add any of these attributes into here. And you can add as many of them as you wanted as well. This is basically whatever you type in here will get typed into the HTML. So this obviously gives you enough rope to hang yourself if you want, right? But you can use all kinds of attributes. Now, why would you use these? I don't know. Because you saw something online and you want to figure out how to add this attribute to your code, right? Or to your page. Or you send me an email and I go, you know what? Just add this little attribute to the container and you're done. All right. So I don't really have a specific use case to show you right now because there's all kinds of attributes that you can add, right? You can even add width if you want, right? I recommend using swatches and stuff like that for that instead, right? But there's all kinds of attributes that you can use. There's, and W3 Schools has a nice interface that kind of lists everything, right? So yeah, let me just show you a quick example. So inside this custom attributes, I'm just going to put in data-hello, okay? And I'm going to give it a value of everyone, okay? So if you guys want to see this, here, let me zoom in so you guys can see that a little bit, right? You guys see that? So I just put data-hello equals, everyone, okay? And if we preview this page again, where is that? Oh, here it is. Right there it is. So this is the container, and if you notice in here, I have data-hello equals everyone. Now that particular attribute is not really an official HTML attribute, but I just wanted to show you whatever you add into this will get added into the code. Okay. Yes, Mike, you could be right. If maybe this also kind of future extends, future proofs, Foundation 6 a little bit. So if, new things get added, we can still, have the free form ability to add a lot of these things in there. So cool. Okay. So yeah, that one kind of went down a little rabbit hole there. I knew that one was. I don't have a great use case, like a specific use case. It's just, it's there if we ever need it. Okay. Okay. Next is, rel options and links. Okay. So in buttons, do I have a button on this page? I don't. Let me add a button. And actually, I have another fix for buttons that I'm going to ship out today. Can't believe I never noticed this one. Okay. So we're going to add a link button. And inside of a link button, if you've never noticed, there's this plus button inside here. And if we go on and click on that button, it unveils a bunch of new stuff. in here, you can type in a title, you can give it a rel, and then you can give it some hreflang. So a lot of these are kind of like more custom attributes that you want to put on a link. Now, before I had rel, I added a few more options, but what's really new here is this custom option where you can now type in your own custom rel attribute for your link. And the reason really this is here is well, if they ever add any custom rel options or something like that, maybe you're using some software that needs it, or maybe you wanted to have multiple of these, because right now if you choose from this list of rels, you can only choose one, right? But let's say I wanted no follow and previous or something like that, right? I can then go to custom and I can go to no follow prev, right? So because the rel does support having multiple options in it, so this custom option now allows you to type in whatever you want for the rel. Okay, so cool. But for the everyday person, most of the time you're only going to be choosing one of these. Okay, and what are these? These are a lot of things for SEO purposes. So like for example, no follow is a popular one where you want to tell Google and search engines, don't follow this link, right? So yeah, the rel is used a lot for, SEO purposes and whatnot. Okay. The bug I'm fixing today is this title tag actually. Whenever you type something in here, it actually would never get inserted as the title tag. So, it was just a stupid typo on my part. No one found it until Guy Woodland found it this morning. So thanks, Guy, if you're watching. Okay. New settings to set columns. Oh, okay. Just inside Columns Pro. I actually realized so I added this setting, and then I realized on the Hangouts last week that I didn't actually need to add these as settings. But it's okay. I'll show you what it is. Inside if you're using Columns Pro, inside of a column, you can set a column to be position relative. Okay, and this will set only this one column to be position relative. So if you have multiple columns, you can set it on both. Prior to me adding this checkbox in each individual column, inside the Columns Pro stack, there is a position relative. And when you do that, that makes every column inside position relative. Okay. So, it's just kind of a little bit more granular control over position relative. And if you're curious, position relative is required if you wanted to use a position swatch inside of a column, right? So like if I wanted, a button to be at the top of this, I would need to make sure that position relative is set, or else the position swatch won't be relative to this column. Okay. There we go. We're getting down to the end here. Dividers no longer have a maximum width. I'm not going to show that. That's no big deal. It's a minor thing. Next things are kind of just kind of easy. Actually, another fix I'm going to have another fix for new lines in emails today. So there was an issue when you had a plain text email that extra new lines would get added. We fixed that. And I have another minor fix for that today for HTML based emails that will go out in 6.6.2 later today. Okay, so that's the end. I mean, 6.6, as you see, it does have a lot of nice little additions and settings. I know there's going to be a lot of questions about this custom adders and what can we do with it. A lot of it's just when you know you need it, it'll be useful. This setting is one of those things that's like the 0.1% setting, right? We're probably most of you will probably never need it, but it is there, okay, to be used. Let me see if there are any other questions that I kind of went over. Font Pro could use an update in breakpoint settings. Yes, Font Pro will get an update. It's actually going to get a version 2. I'm redoing the entire thing to be more like swatches. Is Animate.css the same as CSS Performance? No, Fernando. Animate.css is for animation classes. It's kind of like utility classes with animate stuff. So yeah, they're very different. Two different stacks. Can we have more than one site styles on a page? No, you don't want to have more than one site style. I think I answered that one earlier. You can have as many swatches stacks as you want on the page, but not site style stacks. I mean, you could, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's not, I mean, yeah, don't do it. Can we distinguish between mobile and desktop on the new CSS? No. I'm assuming, Danny, you're talking about the CSS performance. Like if you want to enable it on mobile but not on desktop, you can't do that. Maybe if you used agent and then threw that CSS performance stack inside agent, that could work. Possibly. I haven't tested that, but maybe that would work. Maybe. Come to think of it, I don't think that'll work. Joe, was there a fix for double tap issue on dropdown on iOS devices? No, there was not a double tap issue fix. Hey, Joe, when will the videos for the summit be uploaded? Thank you very much, Rico. All the videos are uploaded. After my son gets off of school today, he's going to add those all to the Hey Summit website. So they're all uploaded, they're all edited, and hopefully by the end of today, they should all be available for you to watch on the Hey Summit or on the summit.weaverspace site. Okay. Sorry for the delay on that, everyone. Just the rendering on those things took a long time. It was like 24 hours of or 20 some odd hours of videos, and encoding them and rendering them and uploading them took a lot longer than I expected. Plus, I'll be honest, like my son did the entire process, so I was teaching him how to do it all and stuff like that. And I tried very hard. I was very good, and I didn't take over. I tend to things don't go faster than I want. I tend to take over, and I resisted doing that because I wanted to make sure he learned and he did it and he helped out. So all of the videos, the editing process, everything was done by him. He does enjoy doing video work, but he's not familiar with Final Cut because in school he's used Adobe's and stuff like that. So, okay. But will videos? Okay, videos. Have you already released your latest work on Total CMS? I'm not sure which latest work you're talking about. Total CMS 2, if that's what you're referring to, will be a 2021 thing. I did just release an update to Total CMS though, and Easy CMS. Can you animate an SVG with Animate CSS? So Animate CSS, all that does is it's essentially the where is it? This stack. So this Animate stack that comes with Foundation 6, this is what Animate.css does. So all of this stuff, okay? This Animate stack is a wrapper around that Animate CSS stuff. So that Animate CSS swatch that you add into site styles just essentially allows you to add a bunch of classes yourself. But to me, I kind of added that as a nicety for maybe some power users, but I would just use this Animate stack. This allows you to fade things in. It basically allows you to bring things in on page load and animate them as people scroll down the page and stuff like that. So that's what this is. All right. So the Animate.css stack, it is this Animate stack. This is the much more user-friendly version of it. If you didn't want to use this, essentially that Animate allows you to put classes on this to animate things. So like you could add the various animation classes to individual components or stacks. The easiest thing though, again, is just to use this Animate stack instead. It's the way to go, I think. Child labor laws, yeah. Has the reCAPTCHA on the page load bug been fixed in F6? reCAPTCHA times out after 2 minutes. That's a Google thing. Google has that timeout set. So Dan, that reCAPTCHA thing is something set on Google's side. If you're on the page longer than 2 minutes, yeah. I'll be honest, I hate reCAPTCHA. Like, why are you using it, Dan? Just use Honeypot. It's just as effective, and it doesn't annoy the crap out of your users. Just some feedback. I added reCAPTCHA because I know a lot of people think that they need it, but it sucks. I hate it. Okay. Can you tell how I feel about reCAPTCHA? Okay. But you can set on click. Okay. Yeah, I think I did file that as a request. I remember now talking to you about that. It's not something I've added yet. It's a much more involved process. So yeah, that hasn't been that feature hasn't been added yet. So it just uses the default timeout from Google. The bug with unpacking partials. Do you guys know where the error comes from? Not sure what bug you're talking about. Hopefully you're talking to Isaiah about that bug. And that, if you're using the Stacks 4.1 beta, there are, so the 4.1 beta has a ton of fixes. Hopefully you're using that. And if the crash happens when you're unpacking a partial in that version, definitely, let Isaiah know, because he's still actively working. I think 4.1 is going to ship pretty soon. Like really, 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 really soon. So, I would hop on that and, let Isaiah know all the details on that. He'll be able to help you more than me, because, all that code, I don't interact with any of that. That's all him. So make sure you, email Isaiah, support@yourhead.com, or, if you're a part of his Slack channel, he has a Slack channel, you can hit him up there, which might be a little bit more immediate. So Stacks 4.1, there are some issues. There are going to be some crashes, but I know a lot of those have fixed. Okay. Jody asks something about Honeypot. How is Honeypot integrated? Is that through an F6 stack? Yeah. So Jody, there is a So inside F6 forms, okay. Essentially, there's a stack called Honeypot. And essentially, you're creating a fake field, okay? And so you give it a field name, you give it a field placeholder, and you even give it an accessibility label. You can give it like a phony type, right? So that basically what this is we're trying to trick bots to have them fill out this field. And if the bots fill out this fake Honeypot field, the form will not be submitted. Okay, so that's how Honeypot works. So we give it the name and a placeholder of a field that might actually be in your form, right? Like we're trying to trick the bots here to make it look like this is a valid field in our form. And and when bots fill it out, Foundation 6 will not submit the form at all. So that's what Honeypot does. I think it's a much clever way, much simpler, much more elegant than horrible reCAPTCHA. Horrible reCAPTCHA. Horrible reCAPTCHA. I am brainwashing you. Horrible reCAPTCHA. Okay. I'm not sharing my... Oh, shit. I wasn't sharing my screen. God dang it. Oh, I just swore. Oops, my bad. I hate when I do that. Darn it, and I deleted everything. Okay. Okay, so we add form and shoot. Can't believe it. I hate when I do that. So there's a Honeypot stack. And inside here you'll notice the settings. They're kind of similar settings to what you would add for a normal form field, right? So you have a field name, the placeholder, and the ARIA label, right? And then you can kind of tell it whether or not it's a telephone field or an email field or a URL field. And if bots fill out this invisible field, then we'll know that because users won't see it, it won't be a visible field for end users. So end users will never actually populate this field. But bots are just bots, right? So if they fill out this field, because they're using JavaScript to find the form, fill out the field with various data and submit, right? So this stops them from doing that. Sorry about that. Sweet. Thanks, Matt, for letting me know my screen wasn't shared. I hate when I do that. Sweet. Okay, well, we got a few more minutes. If anyone has any other questions, I'm happy to do whatever, right? Hopefully this was a little bit helpful. I went off on a few tangents, but yeah, pretty good stuff here today. Again, Summit videos will be uploaded. Well, they're already uploaded, but they'll actually be visible on the Summit website, hopefully later today. And then when it is done, though, I will send out an email to all attendees that the videos are all uploaded. So by tomorrow, we should have an email going out to everyone that everything is good. What platform are you conducting this video? Like the way you shrink your face? So Rico, the way I do the whole shrinking and the screen sharing, it's an app called Wirecast. So yeah, that's what I use. It's called Wirecast. It's really good. It is not cheap at all. But yeah, Wirecast is what I use to do all this. I did a live stream. I don't know, it was probably 4, 5, 6 months ago. That kind of went over my live stream setup. I've optimized it a little bit since then, and I've had a couple requests to do it again. So maybe during the holidays when I'm feeling like just messing around for a day, we'll just kind of give you another tour of my new live stream setup. So that'll be fun. Have links in text stacks been fixed? Links work in text stacks, Jeff. Not sure. Here, let's share my screen again, and let's go ahead and look at links in a text stack. I'm assuming you're talking about the foundation text stack. So if you go here, okay. So links here, this is all markdown, right? So, to type in a link, right? You just do, this is a link. And let's say I wanted to make this, the word link, a link. So I can select that, and I can click the link button. And if you notice that kind of adds in, I forgot, right? It doesn't do that. It doesn't matter if you select the text. So you're going to have to type in the URL here, right? So then if I type in a URL here, right? So if I type in here, that is now my linked text, right? So it does use Markdown, but it works. Not sure what issues you're having, Jeff. I think I recall something happened on the community. I thought we sorted that out for you, but yeah, you do not want to paste formatted text into Markdown. Okay, so for example, if I use let's get a style text stack from Stacks. If I go here and I use this link tool, this brings up the nice RapidWeaver thing, right? And I can link to a page or link to a URL. Okay. So this allows me to create a link with that nice link tool. Markdown doesn't let you do that. If you're wondering why I only have Markdown in Foundation 6 and not style text, watch the video on Foundation 6 and text. I'm not going to go through everything today. There's a lot of reasons why. But what I wanted to show you, if you copy this from the style text and you go to Markdown and you paste it, this is actually a bug I filed with Isaiah. This looks like it will work, right? It doesn't. You don't want to do that. Okay, it won't be supported. You're probably gonna have some issues because you're putting style text into Markdown. If you want to paste the text, you should actually do like a paste as plain text option. So you could do like edit, paste as plain text, then you paste it as plain text. That will obviously remove your link. Okay, but again, links inside Markdown are very different in than using the style text pane. So sorry, Jeff. I know it's a learning curve for some of this stuff. It would disappear after typing in the class. Okay, not sure what that was. Any progress on the partials updating all pages in RapidWeaver instead of just a few of them? Hold on, yes, Rico, that is correct. Wirecast. Jeff says couldn't get a tooltip to work in Foundation Text Stack. Yes, so that's right. That remembers now. So yeah, in order to get that tooltip working, you had to put in the HTML. That's the only solution if you're using this Markdown stack, the F6 text stack. The only solution is to put in the HTML snippet. Can you add rel no opener to text links? If you want to add rel no opener to this, you have to put in the HTML. Yeah, this is Markdown, and Markdown doesn't support rel in its syntax. So if you want to have things like rel attributes inside links inside your text stacks, you have to use HTML. Okay. Mike asks, is there any progress on partials updating all pages in WrapWeaver instead of just a few of them? Okay. So let's back up. Let me explain how partials work and why way back in the day you could update a partial and all your pages that have that partial would be properly published, and now it maybe doesn't. Okay, so back in the day, I think it was WrapWeaver 8, I think implemented one of its features was that it opened up project files faster. And it did. Like your project files would open up so much quicker. What was the mechanism behind that? So prior to in WrapWeaver 7 and previous versions, when you opened up a project file, RapidWeaver was actually going ahead and opening and loading all the contents of every single page in your entire project and loading that into memory. Now, this isn't a problem for smaller projects, files that are, 10, even maybe 20 or 30 pages. But there are some users that have hundreds or even thousands of pages. And for those users, opening RapidWeaver could take 10, sometimes even 30 minutes. Right? Because RapidWeaver was, and then not only that, like it would just use an absurd amount of memory. So RapidWeaver 8, what its solution was, is when you open up a project, it only loads the page that you're viewing into memory. Okay? So how does that affect partials? So partials obviously work where we can have data, we can have a stacks or a layout or something like that, and we can then add that layout to every single page. Okay? And then in theory, when I change that partial, it'll change on all the pages. And that's correct. That is still true. However, because RapidWeaver hasn't opened every page in the project, RapidWeaver doesn't know that what pages a partial is on. Okay? So when you change a partial, if you haven't opened up all the pages that partial is on, Stacks and RapidWeaver don't know what pages that partial is on because that page hasn't been loaded into memory yet. This is why, so at this point, you just need to be a little bit more intelligent when we're publishing. You, the user, need to know, I changed this partial. I need to make sure that I know that this partial is either on all pages on my site or it's on this subset of pages, and you need to be responsible for publishing your pages. So either that's going to RapidWeaver file menu and saying republish all files, or you manually republish multiple files. It's really up to you. You can right click on a page in RapidWeaver and say publish. Okay. So that is the whole reasoning on why you might change a partial and not see some of the pages that contain that partial be published. Hopefully that makes sense. Cool. I don't see a reply, so hopefully that puts some light bulbs on what's going on in the background there. I just answered that on a Hangout, actually. I think it was maybe a week or two ago. So yeah, all that explanation was fresh in my mind. Sweet. Cool. Well, guys, I think we'll wrap it up with that. That was some fun stuff, some good questions after the fact. Hopefully you enjoy Foundation 6.6. 6.6.2 will be released today. Probably might even release it right after this. So cool. Thank you very much, Gaston and Michael Lewis and Rico and Mr. Cole and Austin Powers, and everybody else. Thank you for coming on today. We will see you. Some of you will see you on Friday at the Hangouts, and the others will see you next week in next week's live stream. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and go out there and make something great.